Oh, let's see. Hello, everybody. Just making sure I've got everything up and ready to go today. I am so glad you're here. I see that Lisa's on. I think we are good. Hello, Tara. Zemstones by Walter. Hello. Hello, Lisa. Looks like we're good. Sound is up. Yes. Good to go. All right. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I'm excited to see what I'm going to create too, Tara. I have my coffee. That's what I need this morning. It's been a day. Um, so I just want to say hello. Welcome, all of you. If you are new, I'm Miss Carrie. I am the social manager for This Calls for Confetti, but I'm also a creator. I've been doing, the other day I was counting, I think it was like 15 years, maybe 20. I don't know. You lose count when you get older, I think. But I've been doing card making, scrapbooking, paper crafts for a long time. Um, and I'm excited to be sharing stuff here on the This Calls for Confetti channel. We just started the live streams this month in July. Lisa and I did. The purpose of these live streams is to show you how to use your products. So instead of showing something new every single week, Lisa and I are picking 3 to 4 products from the This Calls for Confetti site, and we're going to be showing you how to use those same products multiple times on multiple projects. So we're just going to give you lots of ideas, lots of inspiration, techniques, all kinds of fun things all month long. So if this is your first time here, make sure you check out the prior lives. Lisa did 2, and I've already done 1 that are showing you the featured products of the month, and I'll share those with you here in a minute. But then you can get all kinds of ideas how to use them. Now, the other bonus that we have for you, the featured products are on sale throughout the month. So you get 25% off the featured products that we're using this month. So if you decide that you love all of the projects that we're sharing with you, you can stock up and save on all of those items. Excuse me. Oh, let me see who came in. It looks like Dorothy came in. Hello. Karen, hello. Von Marie is here. Wonderful. All right. So now that I kind of gave you a gist of how we're working our lives, I'm going to just go and show you real quick the featured products that we have and show you what we're going to be making today, because that's always the fun part, right? Okay, so these two here are two of the featured products. The Express Delivery Stamp Set. This one has a lot of possibilities. There's some different sentiments, some different holiday icons. It kind of has that vintage, like postage feel. Um, there's some fun items on this one. And then the Pin and Plan die and stencil bundle is another one of the featured products of the month. So this goes with our Pin and Plan die. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that one, but it's a die that's kind of got all, actually this stencil here is what the Pin and Plan die looks like. It's kind of got all of these fun little windows. You can create all kinds of designs with it. But once Lisa designed the die, she thought, we need an easy way to fill in all of the spaces, right? So she came up with the stencils so that you can color in the entire image or just the parts and pieces with the individual stencils. And then she also created some little dies that you can use to cut out the parts and pieces. So last time I was live, I shared this card where I used those dies to kind of build a little card design. And then with this, Lisa then came up with a set of blueprints. I don't know if Lisa or Karen, if you can put the link in the comments to like show people the how they can get the blueprints. But Lisa designed a set of blueprints where you can use these different dies or the stencils to create a myriad of cards. And you can build with the dies, you can build with the stencils, and you can just create all kinds of designs. So Lisa has a set of blueprints. They're free to download on the website, thiscallsforconfetti.com. And you can just use all of these parts and pieces to build some different backgrounds for the cards. Okay? So yeah, thanks. I'm glad you like this. If this one is this was the live, not last week, but the week before. So if you want to catch how this was put together, I kind of walked everybody through that. Glad you like it. Okay, so those are two of the featured products. The third one is the Happy Holidays die set, and I don't have that one. But it's a fun sentiment die set. Lisa used it on last week's card. So the Happy Holidays is the third item. And those will end up showing up down in the comments if you want to take a look. I've also added all of them down in the description so that you can see all three products. The other thing I want you to be aware of is the free printable for the month. Lisa designed this to go with your Pin and Plan. So if I put this, I don't know how well you can see this on camera, but if I put this over the top, you can see that this fits perfectly within all of the Pin and Plan pieces. So you can either cut them out with your dies, or you can just use them as is with the Pin and Plan. If you print these with a toner printer, yes, toner printer, then you can foil them. So Lisa shared what they look like foiled on the website, and they're just gorgeous. And this is free for you to download on the This Calls for Confetti site. So there's our stuffs. Let's go to look at what we're making today. Oh, Tara, I love the blueprints too. They're just great, aren't they? Okay, so here is what we are making today. Last time I was live, I asked everybody kind of what their Christmas colors that they decorated with were. Like some people are more of like the traditional red and greens. Some people are more of the like the pastel colors. At our home, we do a lot of like black, white, blue, and gold. So I thought, you know what? Why not put that on a card? So that's what we're going to make today. We're just going to be designing this, and we're going to be doing a little bit of hot foiling. We're going to be doing some stamping, a little bit of mixed media. I don't want to scare you. It'll be very simple, but we're just going to build this fun little card. Now, the reason I wanted to share this design, even though I did this in navy and gold, this is going to be a card design you guys could do with any color palette. Okay, you could do some blending with it and make it some pastels. You could make this a bright red. You could make it some muted tones. There's a lot that you're going to be able to do with the design that I share with you today. So just remember, the designs that we share with you guys, they're just kind of a jumping off point. They're a spot where you get some inspiration, you get some ideas how to do the techniques, and then you can take this and run with it using your own colors and your own personality. Thanks, Tara. Yeah, blue and gold is a great match. Yeah, Von Marie, I love the colors too. Okay, so I am going to do the foiling first, just because that's going to take a little bit of time, and I've got my hot plate running over here. Because I wanted to make sure that this got started before before we went, because this takes a minute to heat up. So I'm going to be using the Klush hot foil plates to use this. It has the big floral that I'm using right there, but then there's also a Klush, which in our part of the world, we just call this a glass cake stand. But if you're fancy pants, you call it a Klush. And then it has happy birthday sentiment and just some little sprinkles. But we're just going to use the little flower today. I don't know how many of you are familiar with foiling. I almost skipped this part, but then I thought, I know some of you, like, foiling may be completely new to you. You do need some type of hot foil plate for these. And then you definitely need a smooth paper, and you need foil that is designed to work with hot foil machines. You don't want transfer foil, okay? You want the foil that is designed to work with a heat machine. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering that too. I saw that they had a new machine coming out. They did say that it works with, if you have like an old Spellbinder machine, which I do, that it works with it just fine. But so right now I am just cutting my foil. I just use a rotary blade. When I use scissors, I always end up like nicking the foil. So I usually use a rotary blade to cut it, and I try to cut it as close to size as possible. And then because I'm one that makes a lot of mistakes, I use tape to put like all the parts and pieces down. So I usually set my foil down on a smooth paper, and I'm just using the Spellbinder's hot foil paper. Hi, Jana. Yeah, I love this Klush set. It's good for all year round. I mean, I'm using it for Christmas, so I think it's like one of those you could use all year round. So we're just going to, I like to tape my paper down, because my issue is it shifts all the time. When you go to, this is like kind of a little base that has some pegs here and it pops in. It always shifts when I go to pull that out and run it through the die cutting machine. Now, supposedly the new one is magnetic, I think, so that might prevent that. I have this machine. I don't know that I'll buy the new one, but so I like to tape everything in place. So I've got my smooth paper. I've got my foil with the like the what is it? The color side up. And then I've got my foil on the top. Okay. You use a rotary blade too, Karen. Yeah. Walter says he's doing his day job. That's usually what I did. Okay, so it says my platform's ready. So I've got my little green light because I let this heat up ahead of time. And then I just set this down. And then for a little bit of pressure, I typically just put these right on top. These are the two plates that we're going to run through the machine. And then we just hit our little timer button. You need to use tape. Yes, I know. And I will tell you, I'll warn you, make sure the tape is the correct one, Jana. I tried to use, what was it? Mint tape. I tried to use a mint tape one time and it got like, it didn't react well with the heat. It was a big mess. And it actually took off like some of the foil. Like it did not work well. This one is actually from Spellbinders, so it's designed to work with the heat. So make sure that if you do tape it down, you're using a heat friendly or heat resistant tape. That I learned the hard way. I also have a tape that I use when I'm doing my sublimation for my Cricut crafts. That tape also works really well. Everybody's telling Walter not to let work get in your way. Yeah. All right, so we've already got our little timer off. So I'm going to shift some things around here. Okay, now this is where I told you why I tape it, because when you go to pull this out, it always shifts on me. And then like it messes up your entire foil print. So that is why I tape it all down. Oh, spreadsheets. Yay. Some people love spreadsheets. All right, and then we're just going to run this through our Spellbinder. See, and this is why I tape stuff down, because I am just a hot mess and everything shifts all the time. And then we're just going to run it through once. And I like to kind of go slow. Some people go back and forth, but I sometimes get ghosting if I go back and forth. So I always just go slow all the way through. And you're going to see all my die cutting tape all over the top because I reuse everything. And I got this static. Come on. Well, that's a new one. I've never had it stick to my plate before. Only during a live, right? There we go. Okay, I'm going to move this stuff out of the way because I will burn myself during the live if I don't. Okay. So then we are going to carefully peel this up. And it helps to just have a little poker tool to just get the edge of that tape. Oh, it's the first time I've had issues where nothing's coming up. There we go. All right. And I did get ghosting because I shifted it and I dropped it. But I knew it was going to happen during the live, so I made a second one. Right? This is just me. Maybe it's just me that weird things happen. Because it's stuck. It's stuck down, and then I shifted it. I knew exactly what happened as I was moving it. But I've got a lot of ghosting on here. So I did make a second one because I knew it always happens live. It does. Every time I've done foiling live, I get this. And when I'm doing it by myself, I get this. Lisa says she's much too feral. So let me just say, this has nothing to do with the dye. This has to do with somebody who probably didn't have enough coffee. And we're live. Okay. So that's why we make the second one for lives. All right. Yes. Yay for making a second one. I know myself way too well. All right. So the Klush does have a matching die set, so you can cut it all out. So we're just going to match that up. Oh, and then I shifted it. There we go. We're just going to make sure we're lined up with the die as close as we can get. And then I am using a Spellbinders paper, and I'm going to warn you, this has nothing to do with the die. This has to do, I have had this issue with every company's die when I use the Spellbinder hot foil paper. Dies don't cut through it just regularly. I always have to add a shim for extra pressure. I think it has to do with the coating on the paper. So I always add a cardstock shim. Thank you, Carol. Things happen. Yes. Let's make sure everything cut out. Yeah, I don't know if you've worked with Spellbinders foil paper before, but it has a slick coating, and it's supposed to help the foil do a better job. But I've always had issues with dies cutting through it. I don't know. Do you guys use another paper for your when you do foiling? I've only ever used the Spellbinders, so yeah, and I don't know. I wish you could feel this because it even like it always feels kind of rubbery to me too. That's just a texture thing for me. Hammermill and Nina. You just use regular cardstock? I was always told that you had to use the smooth paper. I guess I fell for that marketing. Did I? Okay. And like I said, that has nothing to do with this die. I just always have issue with Spellbinders paper. Tara says she always has to make 2 or 3 because she's going to make a mess. Okay, so that's the hardest part of the project. The next part is super simple, okay? We're going to do a little tiny bit of mixed media. Stamping and blending. Walter says he uses Nina too. And colored cardstock from Recollections. Okay, good to know. Hey, Carmen. Congratulations. Carmen, I believe you were the one who won our recent Christmas Mayhem. Our Merry Mischief. Never buy into the hype. Okay. All right. So the part that's mixed media is actually very simple. So we have this little vellum piece here, and I wanted it to almost look like a faux shaker. So I am going to use a little bit of gold solar paste. You can use any gold color that you have. And the stars stencil. I love this stencil. And then a piece of vellum. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this down. I am going to grab vellum gets a little bit slick. So I'm going to grab this to pop it down. Oh, I'm so glad you liked that event. Doing fun, goofy events like the Christmas, Merry Mischief Christmas event, or we did like our halfway to Halloween. I think those, you need to bring a little bit of silliness into life, don't you? So I'm just running the solar paste over the top of the vellum here with the stars stencil. And you can use any paste you have. Like Nuvo, I think, has like a gold. Trying to think who else has gold paste. There's a lot out there. And then we're just going to lift this off carefully. Look at that. Don't you love those little stars? So that's going to set aside and dry a minute. I'm just going to pop this out of the way. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been doing Summerween. Honestly, I think the world is getting where they prefer to maybe take seasons a little bit slower, one at a time, So I think instead of Christmas in July, there were a lot of people that were like, you know what, I think I'd rather just go to the next season, which is Halloween, Okay, so I have a piece of mixed media cardstock. We're going to do our background here, and I'm just going to be using the entire stencil piece here. I'm just going to lay this, center it over the top. Just going to kind of press this in place on my sticky mat. And then I'm going to be using two inks. I'm going to be using Blueprint Sketch and Chipped Sapphire. Feel free to use whatever color. Like I said, this is a card that you can just use any color you like that matches your mood for the day. For some of us, you may always be in a dark mood, and maybe you need to always do the dark colors. And some of us may have days where we prefer a pastel and a bright color palette. So this is definitely, like I said, this card is one that you just make with any colors you like for your project. Oh, thanks. My nails. Yeah, I love doing my own nails. So this is going to be a silly story while I'm blending. I'm going to bring in the blueprint next and just darken this up a little bit. So my mother-in-law and my daughter go on outings all the time. She's a wonderful grandmother. All of my kids, she always does outings with them to spend time with them and stuff. But my daughter and mother-in-law would go get manicures, pedicures, and that kind of thing. And I have to say, I'm a bit of a feral person where I kind of do my own nails, and I've never had a professional manicure. And my daughter and mother-in-law invited me. I don't know how I feel about it. Like I said, I think maybe I'm too feral for the whole the whole manicure setup. But I came home and I redid my nails to this. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's my nature of having to do my own thing. But yeah, that's why I like to do my own. They did them all the same color and a bunch of sparkles, and I struggled. Okay, so I've got the blueprint, and I'm going to do another bit of the chipped sapphire, and this is just going to go in the corners. And this is what gives us that deep navy. .100-degree weather and humidity. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to get to 101 this weekend, but here we don't get the humidity. I mean, I'm lucky if we get rain. So you can see how when you do the chipped sapphire over the blueprint, this just gives you a really nice deep navy color. And the center I'm not worried about because we're putting that frame. You like being pampered. Yeah, maybe that's my issue too. I don't know. There's probably a reason that I only had one daughter and 3 boys. All right, I'm just gonna wipe this off a little bit so I don't smudge anything. This is always the fun part, right? The reveal. Yeah, a lot less rain. I know. Hot and humid in Georgia. Ugh. Yeah. I am grateful we don't have the humidity. And there we go. I love the blue. Love the blue. Oh, Alana's here. Alana lives nearby to me. You should just come on over here. All right. So our next step is to do the stamping. Super easy. Yeah, the peel and reveal is the best, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to use, actually, no, I need the bigger one. I remember this. Because of where my stamps sit, I need the larger one. Okay. So I'm just going to put my magnet over here because I have no stamps that are going there. And this is going to be a one and done. You can do it all in separate pieces, but I am all about saving time. Yes, I did use the hot foil plate. So this is where you're just going to do a bunch of randomness kind of around your frame. Um, Now this one I did heat emboss. I'm not going to heat emboss today, but if you heat emboss, you definitely want to make sure that the distress ink is dry. You want to give it time, otherwise your powder is going to stick all over that distress ink. And then I would also suggest that you grab the anti-static powder. And because we're using distress oxides, I wouldn't rub this over the top because you're going to get ink all over it. But if you just tap it and put a little powder over the top, that's going to also prevent your heat embossing powder from sticking in places where you don't want it. And like I said, today we are not going to do the heat embossing. I'm just going to go over it with some gold ink. But you could definitely bring in that heat embossing component to it. All right, so I am just going to grab some stamps here from the express delivery. And I think this is the fun part where you can just kind of pick and choose where you want to put your different stamped images. And I'm just going to let them go off the edge. If that bothers you, you can use some tape and mask this off. But I kind of wanted these to go off the edge a little bit. Let's see, I've got the word Christmas here. Let me move that over. And let's grab the 25. There we go. I'm just going to pick all those up. And then I'm just using a gold pigment ink. If you're using pigment ink, just remember it takes a bit to dry, or you do have to put the embossing powder over the top. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of a heat tool so that I don't smudge it. But we're just going to add a little bit of gold. Like I said, if you would rather do like a gold embossing powder and a clear embossing ink, go for it. You could also bring silver to this. Silver and blue are also beautiful. Need my espresso press. You can see that just creates this beautiful gold in the background. I love the way this looks. We're going to add a few more on here. So I'm just going to wipe these down. You can add as many or as little as you like. Oh, Lisa said the new product just showed up. Oh, I'm glad it's not here. If it was here, I might have to, like, you know, it might accidentally show up on camera. Right? Does that happen to anybody? Things happen by accident. Lisa almost showed stuff. Last week, she was just like, I want to show you. Honestly, the August reveal, you guys better show up for the live next week because Lisa, I think, if I remember right, I think Lisa said she may be sharing the new stuff in next week's live, right? Am I right about that? Okay, so I'm just adding another little ho type thing and another 25 just to bring some balance to this background. Remember, we're going to have a big frame in the center, so I'm not going to be stamping anything there. So I added the word cheer down here, the word Christmas up here. And then let's do one more 25 down there. Karen, she did say that. Yes, she did. Yeah, I think in our home Walter said he likes blue and silver, but the blue and gold is pretty. I do like blue and silver as well. I think the gold in our house is more of like craft color. We have a lot of vintage stuff in our home. I think my favorite thing, my husband's grandmother gave us all of her hand blown glass ornaments from when she was young. And so we have a special tree that those hang on above my piano. Those, I think, are my favorite. Okay. So before I put this away, I'm also going to stamp the sentiment. It's like while I have this out, let me do that real fast. I'm going to be using a sentiment from the Shine Bright. And I'm just going to do Together in Spirit. And I've just cut a 1/4 inch piece here of cardstock. And we're just going to pop that down. The ornaments are gorgeous, Von Marie. They, we had to giggle because when she was starting to suffer from dementia, and when she realized that she couldn't be at home anymore, she started kind of going through some things. And I know my mother-in-law had a few of them, but then they were actually still in, the ornaments were still in the Montgomery Ward box. I don't know who remembers Montgomery Ward. Is that like aging me? But all the ornaments were still in the Montgomery Ward boxes. Those, I don't know, they had kind of like an Art Deco look to them. And so of course we kept the boxes too. I mean, they're sitting, we have the ornaments stored in a box that's keeping them safe, but I had to keep those Montgomery Ward boxes because they were just gorgeous. Okay, there's my sentiment. Okay, stamping's done. All right. So I am just real quick. I'm going to hit this with a heat tool just because it is a pigment ink and I really don't want to accidentally smudge it. So I'm going to do that real fast. I'm going to shut off my mic. All right, hopefully I got the mic back on. Oh, Walter says that he has some old catalogs that he uses for vintage. That's a cool idea. That's a great way to use those. All right, so I just hit it with the heat tool because pigment ink will smudge. Pigment ink, it actually sits on top of your project. It doesn't soak into the paper, so that you can add embossing powder and such, but that's why you end up with where it will smudge if you don't give it a moment to dry. So I have my little background here. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and you're going to see that I cut the frame out of the center of that. This is going to go on a card base. So to save some card stock, I usually just cut out other pieces from my frame piece to save paper. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like I have a shortage of paper in this craft room, but you know, every little bit counts, right? Okay, so there is our background. Oh, Karen says she used to make paper dolls from the catalog. Oh, that's a good idea. And then for the frame, I used the Layer It die set, and I cut out 2 of them. On this card that you see here, I use that postage stamp frame. This, if you need like a generic go-to everyday die set, the Layer It frames are definitely something that you would use all the time. So because this is going to be popped up on a little bit of foam tape, I am doubling it just to give it a little bit of structure. Tara says she could stock a store with all the paper she has. Yeah, I giggle at myself that like I gut my scrapbook pages. And I cut out the centers of the frame pieces. You know, it's like, why? It's not like there's a ton of stuff. You know, a ton of stuff that's needing saved. I mean, I have like more than anyone could use. Just in case of emergency. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, it also does weigh a little bit less. Now I am popping up my frame on some 1mm or 2mm foam tape. When you're creating what's called a faux shaker, you really don't need to pop up the frame because you all of your shaker bits basically are texture paste is flat. It's fake. So you could set this down flat, and faux shakers are nice because they are also easier to mail. There's not as much bulk to them. I'm just going to put this right over the top of my vellum. And then we're just going to get a little bit of glue around the edges. And pop this right over the top. Okay, I'm going to let this sit a sec while I cut out the leaves. So for the leaves, I'm using, and I always say it wrong, Autumn Artisan or Autumn Artisan. That word I've seen multiple times. And like I said, I usually slaughter it. This is another one of those like go-to that I use a lot. You could also laminate the confetti stars in laminating pouches to create. Oh, that's a great idea, Lisa. Oh, these are extra leaves. I always store extra leaves in my pouch here. If I cut extras, that way if I'm doing a last minute project, I have it. So I'm just going to cut out 2 leaves. Now, if you are using gold and you're like me and you just have scraps of gold around the craft room, one thing to make you aware of, not all gold cardstock and paper is the same. So if you look at these two, they have a different metallic finish. So if you have OCD like me, make sure you're using the same gold for your whole project. Little tip from one to another. Now this is the best part. You have to see the etching on this. Look at that. I love the details on these leaves. So we're just going to do 3 of them real fast. And I just need the top portion of this. So I'm just going to cut a partial leaf. Yeah, I love the idea of the laminating. Oh, thanks for the reminder, Nina. And now we are down to the decorating part. So let's bring in, we have our beautiful foil item here. I love that cloche flower. I've seen so many people use the cloche to also put the 3-tier birthday cake in. That looks really fun. I've not done that yet. So we're going to kind of center this a little bit. I'm just putting some foam tape on the back. So we're going to center this so that our little branches kind of go out and down. And then we're just going to bring in our leaves and do 3 leaves. So I like to bend them a little bit, even though I know once they go in the envelope, they're probably going to get, flattened. We're just going to pop one over here. Yeah, Karen, I agree. The autumn leaf set is like one that you could use with so many things. And let's pop this partial one. Trying not to cover some of my stamping, but I know it's going to cover a few pieces. And then let's grab our last leaf. This would look so pretty with silver too. I know Walter said silver and navy are also gorgeous. I love silver and navy too. So you could do this with silver. We're just going to fuss with those a minute because that's what, we all do as card makers. We fuss. There we go. Walter says he just placed an order. Now you need more. Oh, that happens. Carmen said how to pronounce cloche. Yeah, now I've also heard it cloche. Where I'm from, we say things weird. I'm from a small little country town. You're just not going to hear anything the way most people say it. I've always heard it cloche. So let me know in the comments if you've heard cloche with the hard O, long O, or cloche, like, you know, with the double O. So I just went ahead and trimmed that because it's just going to sit right here. I need to trim this part just a little bit. Any sentiment's going to work for this. I know you all have just these one-liner sentiments. We all have them in our stash, right? Just a simple sentiment. And then we're just going to trim around this because I like to frame my sentiments sometimes. And then I'm just going to put a little foam tape on this side. And a tiny smidge on this side. And this is the same foam tape, the size that I used for the frame, just so this sits level. I'm just going to pop that. I had my grand pups here this week, and I keep finding puppy hair. There we go. Oh, stay. Okay, now the last thing, of course, we have to bring some confetti to play, right? Cloche. Okay. Cloche and cloche. So people are hearing it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Alana, we need to find out what Walter ordered. I'm just bringing in satin gold, and these are called black glitter. Okay. Now, to me, they kind of have a bit of a blue tint to them. So they work well. I don't know. You tell me if you can see these on camera, if they're black or if they're blue. To me, they have a little bit of blue. Windowscapes, ephemera background, and some bling. Oh, which ephemera backgrounds did you grab? So I'm going to bring some gold to these small little windows over here because they cannot be left blank. How dare we do that? I'm just going to use the satin gold. I think this kind of brings in some of my love of steampunk, is this little bit of, you know, buttons over here. Yes, we've had this discussion before, Lisa. They can look black or they can look blue depending on what light they're in. And if you use them with the glitter side up, they have a bit of a blue. And if you use them with the glittery side down, they're definitely black. Oh, Christmas, autumn, and oh, the Halloween ones I think are my favorite. I really hope you share what you make, Walter. And make sure you tag us if you make something and share it, because I will definitely share it on our social feed. We love when people show off what they made. All right, and then I'm just going to bring in 3 little of the black glitter. I'm just going to pop them right near the sentiment. Now, when you put down embellishments, people like, I used to have a really hard time trying to figure out where my embellishments went. And I realized, first of all, less is more. Um, always try to do it in odds. So I'm only doing 3 here. And then you want to try to put them around things that you're trying to bring focus to. So in this example, I'm trying to bring focus to my sentiment. So I'm putting these more towards the sentiment to give it more of a emphasis. And that is crooked and driving me crazy. So yeah, this is where I've got ink on my fingers, but welcome to crafting. So I'm hoping I can get these near the camera. When they're the non-glitter side down, they are black. And when the glitter side's up, you've got a bit of a blue. So yeah, these can be used on any black or blue. Lisa, she's been taken to confetti court over the naming of the product. That's hilarious. All right. And literally, that is it, people. That is the card. And like I said, the only difference between these two, I did heat embossing on this one. So we've got a little bit, and I used a more of a distress powder. So I kind of have more of that rustic look to it. Whereas this one, I just hit it with a heat tool and just kind of left it that matte gold. Both of them are great. Both of them work well. But it gives you, I wanted you to be able to see the options. Okay. And once again, like I said, feel free to bring in your own color palettes to this. I did one that was more like some muted pastels, and I did a black frame. And so you kind of got that pastel with the black, which is like one of my favorite combos. There's a lot you could do with this. I'm glad you like that. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Karen. All right, I'm going to go back to my face real quick. We're going to wrap this up. Hello. You can see my mess over here behind me. That's okay. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. I'm so glad you liked that. Yeah. And like I said, it is a card that you could throw your own personality into and have a ton of fun with. Super fun, right? All right, now don't forget the products that are our featured products of the month are on sale. They're 25% off. And there is a Christmas sale where all of the Christmas items are 25% off for one more day. So make sure that if you're wanting some Christmas items to work on your Christmas cards, or you're wanting to grab our featured products, those 3, the pin and plan stencil and die, the express delivery stamp set, and the Happy Holidays die, those 3 are our featured for the month. And those are also on sale. Thank you, Alana. And then next week, Lisa will be here. I don't know what Lisa has planned, but it's definitely something that you want to show up. We're going to have a whole new set of featured products, and we'll spend the entire month creating with those. So Lisa's going to go first, and she's going to show some great items. I think we're going to be moving into maybe some fall stuff. Is that what we talked about, Lisa? You have to remind me. Oh, that's new release. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you better come here next week, people, because we get to see the new release. And I'm just going to tell you, I can't, I think I swapped back to my desk real quick. I'm going to tell you that I can't tell you anything. The new release is stunning. I'm going to tell you that. Um, I'm going to tell you that if you are one who likes all the things, coloring, stenciling, all the things, it's definitely a release that you want to see. Oh, it is gorgeous. Lisa did an amazing job this year with the fall items that are coming out, and I'm so excited. Yes, I'm ready for fall too, Carmen. I love fall. All right, guys, thank you again for joining me today. If you're watching the replay, you can get all of the links to everything I shared with you down in the description. And if you have any questions, feel free to post those in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Yes, Lisa just posted what we're using next month. So next month we will be using Autumn Accents, Fancy Frames, Lattice Luxe, and the Lattice Stencil. So if you have any of those items, start pulling them out. All right, guys, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. And I can't wait to see what you create with our This Calls for Confetti